at 11 o'clock last night, I got back from Belgium late after some flight delays, and realised / remembered that actually my kit bag with all my athletic stuff in it is in my car, which is in the garage. And there's just been so many things going on in the last week with travelling and car problems and moving house and living out of bags and things here, there and everywhere that my earlier plans and contingencies. My sister's car, which is great, but yeah, this garage essentially is closed at the weekends, and I needed to get this stuff. So really frustrating and disappointing. Not least because I thought, well, actually, there's only one pair of shoes in there that I really needed, because I just ordered two new pairs of shoes, which were both going to be arriving on time. So I'd maybe not have thrown shoes or something, and I'd need them for one of the 5 events, and be a bit of a disaster, but I'd still have everything else. And I just can't believe I'm in this situation with no kit. I mean, one of the things as well is that it's a county championships, so I need my vest. I need my Norwich vest. So hopefully it's an informal enough type set up at this pentathlon to allow me to compete without my vest. For some reason I had all my eggs in the one basket, and just one by one things just kind of fell apart. Like I wasn't able to get food, so I wanted to get my bag. The spikes that arrived last night are just too small, despite being the same size that I've also bought from Adidas for other spikes that were too big. The other ones are too big, went down half a size, now they're too small, the new ones. And I made the mistake with the delivery address, but that didn't result in a rerouting. When they saw that there was a mismatch with the address and the postcode, they just lost my parcel entirely. I had to get a new one sent out, which only came last night, so I didn't have time to go and get another one in time for this meeting. Obviously this is good for Madiera, because at least I can try and get some of this sorted for Madiera. But so there's that. Then my New Balance distance running shoes, which were the main thing that I really wanted to try out this weekend. They're just not there. Everything was estimated delivery by the 23rd, and it's now the 27th and the 29th. What day is it? 28th. And they're just still sitting in some depot somewhere. That's really quite frustrating as well. I'm essentially going to have to run in trainers for the 4 events. I even went back to the house there to see if I could find my old spikes, but I couldn't find them. And in the end, I had to make a decision: was I going to go in to kill half an hour going into town into London to get this to chap on the door of the garage. Otherwise, we're a bit drained, but I'd got actually good sleep. Napped during the day yesterday, good sleep last night. And I always thought it was fairly fresh. I've got some caffeine here. But at this point in the season, I really need a boost. I really need a lift. And this little meeting, which is just one day, it's not a full decathlon, it was really going to sit in that spot of something that was achievable, but actually at the same time could give, but not too strenuous, and it could give me a bit of a boost and actually have a chance of medaling. So I still have a chance of medaling, because looking at the results from last year, there was a bit of a spread, there was a bit of separation from the guy who was first, and so on. But I just don't feel like a complete amateur. Now there could be some good aspects as well with running trainers, where I'm less likely to injure myself ahead of Madiera. So that's good. It's great being in a car that can actually straighten my leg out. I'm really so thankful for that. At times like this, go back to some of the first experiences that you had of just driving without indicator. Yeah, first experiences you had of competition. I really remember the first university indoor games that I went to in Scotland, the Scottish Indoor University Championships, and winning a bronze medal just from nowhere. And I think the shoes I had weren't even proper sprint shoes; they were kind of like a hybrid or kind of like distance sprint or something. And yeah, just not knowing who's going to be there, not knowing what the setup's going to be, and that being a good thing, and not writing yourself off. And that was a key lesson I learned really early, was to just not write anything off. Like, if you can get there, get in the mix. If you're in 4th or 5th place, then you could end up accidentally winning a medal. That was me, made it to the final. I think it was 5 lanes in the indoor track, and yeah, I thought I'd come 5th, but actually, just with the way the stagger unwound at the end, I just managed to get past the guy that was in 4th because I didn't give up. And then the guy who was, did pass the guy who was in, at 5th, and then the guy that was in 4th got a DQ for stepping outside his lane. So then I found myself in 3rd, and then that was me. I had an individual medal, and the rest is prehistory of my athletics career. So yeah, really really important to remember some of these things. So all I can do right now is say my prayers, listen to some tunes, really allow this journey to be a time of refocusing and recentering, just using this whole day as a way to centre myself in the athletics, and use this as a good dry run for Madiera as well. And yeah, being able to say that if I got a medal or placed highly, being able to say I did that at regional level, even if the field wasn't very deep, it's going to be good. And yeah, I wonder if on Power of 10 you get like a pentathlon score, if that'll come up, if that's a thing. Anyways, I mean, I was aiming for 2,000 points, being commensurate with a 4,000 point decathlon, it being a pentathlon, and averaging 500 points per event. So in the 200, that would be, if I could get 25 seconds, that would get me over the 500 points easy. If I could get 5 metres 20, that would get me 500 points in the long jump, and then just see what happened in the other ones. So yeah, we just have to see what happens. That might be beyond us today. I think I might have needed all guns firing. There is, at the very back of my mind, this aspect of injuring myself today really would kill Madiera. And this is just an hour or two up the road, no major stakes. Madiera's like hundreds of pounds I've paid, even just buying kit was like £100. So yeah, it's really not worth jeopardising Madiera for this year. So if I'm starting to have twinges, or I'm not sure, I can just say, yeah, I'm going to bail out and take the times and the performances that I've done up to that point. So yeah, really conscious of a lot of the athletes that are at Tokyo, and how it wasn't a very good games. There was no gold medals from Team Great Britain, and a lot of athletes just didn't perform. A lot of the ones that you're expecting to get gold or silver were not in the run, didn't win a medal at all. And it does make you think, okay, what's going on in the Team GB side? Is there something new that they're trying that's that's making everyone just a bit more depleted or something like that? I don't know. But yeah, this is the reality, is that actually some athletes can have whole years that don't go very well, and I don't really think I've got scope and room to have a whole year that doesn't go very well. Out of these, I think I've got 3 years. I think I've got this year, next year, and the year after to really do well, and then after that, I just think I'm going to have exams and more responsibilities, and it's going to be really difficult. If you've only got 3 years and you have a couple of years that weren't so good, then that means you only have one good year. But what if that one good year's at the end, and at the end of the year you finally meet a qualification mark, but then you can't capitalise and use that for the following year? You really kind of need a career of about 5 years to maybe have a couple of wasters, and then the other ones you can kind of build them together into, qualifying for a major championships one year, getting to it the next year, and then coming away with something. So yeah, I really sincerely hope that the next year won't be as tough as it was this year out with the sport for me, so that I can actually have a good run, a good year. At least I can use this year to build. There's a lot to build on. There's a lot of good technique that I've learned. I built up a bit of a network of coaches and competitions, and but also being able to work out the balance of different competitions and training and stuff like that, and learn some tough lessons. I think I've maybe overtraining, strength and conditioning in the winter, and that's fair enough. I've maybe done a bit more conditioning, maybe like a bit more cardio and got leaner last winter. But yeah, I think it's good that can be a foundation for next year. I think 2 in a row years of this would just be too demoralising. I think to put in the effort that I've put in to get the results that I've got year on year, I think it's going to be too difficult, and I can see why other people just don't do it. So this last thing to say on the whole competition thing is that this pentathlon is something that I could continue to do in subsequent years. So I wasn't training hard, but I had developed a basic skill set, and I was only training once a week, and it was more of a hobby and less of a serious extracurricular activity. Then this is something that I could come back year on year and do, and a lot of masters athletes do that. So it's good to scope this out as an option for future competition, or that kind of a post-career retirement phase type competition that I can enjoy as well. So that's the situation. We will update later on how things went. I'm not going to count anything out. I can still get PBs and trainers. Not very likely in the 200 metres, but still an option there. Certainly in the javelin, I've been training hard with technique, so really want to unleash javelin. I've just waiting on the javelin and trainer, so that's one event which is just no major changes there. So getting close to Madiera, getting close to the dream. Just to re-articulate the dream again here just now, we want to break new ground and be basically in the shape of my life in Madiera. And I think that's going to be quite hard to quantify if the previous shape of my life has been purely in sprints, but if I can recover and perform really well, then you could make an argument that a really good decathlon performance is better than the other ones, because I've transitioned into a different, even if I'm not running as fast in the 100 and 400, if I still run pretty fast in those and developed other skills and other endurance, then it was my life. It's certainly one of these certain personal bests. We're still holding on to our goal, and I think a readjustment of goal has to happen. Because obviously my goal for September which is now the end of September, was to get 4,500 points in a decathlon. I didn't manage to actually do a decathlon because of injuries, so it's very clear that's a goal needs to change anyway. But also it's really important to say, let's not go into Madiera saying I need to get a certain amount, or I'll be disappointed, because it just applies a lot of undue pressure. I'm actually in a position where I need a realistic goal that I can still achieve, that I can get some wind and something to build on. And a 4,000 point decathlon is definitely something I feel I can build on. We've got these international flags up, which you told them it's probably like most international town in these parts. Okay, it's a really long video, but 4,000 point decathlon would be something to really build on. It would show that I've been able to sufficiently master the events, and yeah, I'm in the UK top 100. I would be able to be in a roster spot in a lower league American college team, and yeah, even eligible for some funding at least one UK university based on that performance. So I think it's a very meaningful target to go for, and yeah, we will take that forward. The last thing on the decathlon sport is I really want to get my decathlon sport in Madiera before I approach new coaches. I think it'd be much nicer to say actually I'm a 4,000 point decathlete and I've only been doing it for a year, rather than a 3,799 point decathlete. I think that it maybe transitioning from being a kind of hobby type thing to like, oh, this guy's clearly gunning for something. I mean, some of that's your own expressed goals, and you know, if I got that benchmark with injury, then I might just be taking it a bit more seriously, I think, in terms of accessing some training groups that I would be the worst in, rather than like one of the better ones. That's what you want. So, long video. I'm going to get back to the motorway here and get some sidetracks going. And yeah, Madiera, we're coming for you.